So, as we were discussing, chapter 6, as the name indicates, Dhyana Yoga. So, Krishna is going to be talking a little more in detail about how the yogis are able to focus their mind by giving up all sense enjoyment and purifying their minds, and by the help of observing regulative principles, then pranayama, then yogasanas, and all that. So, we also spoke about yoga rurukshu and yoga rudha. That means one who is just starting the process of yoga. He's at the beginning stage, is known as a yoga rurukshu. Yoga rudha is one who has attained the highest stage of yoga. So now in shlokas 10 to 27, actually, Lord Krishna talks about what are the different stages of yoga practice and what is samadhi. So here he will speak about various stages of Ashtanga yoga. As the name indicates, Ashtanga is 8 parts of yoga, and Krishna will explain the practice of these stages. So what really is the goal of yoga? And it is almost completely unknown to this modern day world, because mostly yoga is synonymous with just the physical exercises, but that is just one aspect of the 8 parts of Ashtanga yoga. So here Krishna talks about what really one achieves, by practicing yoga. So by practicing yoga with determination and by controlling the mind and then fixing the mind on the Paramatma who is inside our heart, one finally attains the stage of perfection, which is samadhi, wherein one enjoys unlimited spiritual transcendental pleasure. So let us start now. And as we go on with these shlokas, we'll get into more details. Shloka number 10. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthitaha ekaki yata chittatma nirashir aparigraha. Yogi yunjita. Yunj or yuj. So that means, or yukta. This all means to be in connection with Krishna, to be connected to Krishna. So here yunjita means he must focus or concentrate in Krishna consciousness or Krishna bhakti. Satatam means constantly. So it is not like, especially in today's day and age, people think, okay, I'll do a little meditation whenever I feel like it, and then completely forget about all that and then enjoy this material world. No, that's not how it works. Of course, their goal is different. Their goal is probably to increase their material enjoyment, but the real goal of yoga is to attain the Supreme Lord. And for that, one has to constantly endeavor. Atmanam here means himself. And of course, it can mean on 3 levels. One who is on a bodily platform, he thinks he is the body. So therefore, it can mean the body and the mind and the spirit soul. Rahasi means in a secluded place. So here, all the three are involved. Atmanam, because all the three, body is involved, the mind and the spirit soul. Sthitaha means being situated. Ekaki means alone, being situated alone. So yoga comes with all these prerequisites. It needs a very secluded, very peaceful place, and one has to be completely away from all sorts of distractions, and one has to completely fix one's mind on the Lord. And yata chittatma, yata chitta atma means one who is always careful with his mind. He's trying to always control his mind carefully. Nirashir aparigraha. Nirashir means without being uh, interested in anything else. That means no material aspirations or desires. Aparigraha means grahana means to possess or to grab something, literally. Aparigraha means one who is free from that. He does not feel possessive of anything. That means he's detached. So here, the Lord is instructing a yogi or a transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and his soul in relationship with the Supreme Lord. So he has to live alone in a secluded place, and he should always carefully control his mind. And he should also be free from all sorts of material desires and feelings of possessiveness. So these are all actually the prerequisites for one who wants to succeed in this practice of yoga. Otherwise, it is just a sham, or you can say, or it can just to show off. We can show off to others, or we can simply get some health benefits. Nothing more than that. Okay. Here, Shloka 11 and 12. Shuchau deshe प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरम् आसनमात्मनः नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं चैलाजिनकुशोत्तरं तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्याद् योगमात्मा विशुद्धये. Shuchau deshe. Desha means land, some place. So it should be a clean place. Shuchi means clean. So physical cleanliness and mental cleanliness, both internal and external, both are required. And sthiram asanam pratisthapya. That means asana means some sort of a seat. Generally, in Vedic practices, they use the kusha grass mat, the chape, or some kind of a straw mat, because that generally is said to be pure, and it doesn't get contaminated. Therefore, placing such a mat, or sometimes they use even a wooden seat. So placing that in a clean place, which is secluded, we have already heard that previously. Nati uchritam, nati nicham. It should not be too high. Uchritam means very high, nor should it be very low. So one cannot possibly sit on some kind of a sofa kind of a thing. So it should be slightly above the ground. And Chaila Ajina. Ajina means the kind of a deer. And so it is the deer skin Lord is talking about. Kushottaram. And Kusha means, so the Kusha grass. So either they may lay Kusha grass, they would gather a pile of Kusha grass and lay it on the ground and then cover it with deer skin, or it can be a mat made of grass in these days. So, and then cover it with chaila, means like a soft cloth. So it should be comfortable, but at the same time, it should not be too luxurious. So, because it defeats the whole purpose. So, we often come across that Krishna always talks about achieving the middle ground. So, Nati, see here also he's saying Nati, Uchitam, Nati, neither too high nor too low. So, Krishna is always talking about samatolana, equilibrium. So, especially for a yogi, the mind, the body, everything should be in equilibrium. So, therefore, we have to train ourselves. Okay, we may not be practicing all this, but whoever is really interested in a spiritual life, uh, he has to bring his mind under control for sure. And for that, mind's very behavior, the very nature of the mind is called sankalpa, vikalpa. Sankalpa means mind is always accepting something, thinking, oh, this is very nice. Or immediately it will, or immediately or later, after some time, the same mind will think it is, this is not good. So it will give it up very easily. So therefore, this is the nature of the mind to go to sway to the extremes. But we have to bring it under our control. So similarly, therefore, our surroundings also should, be under control with some kind of a equilibrium. And it should be placed in a sacred place. So a pure, clean environment, sanctified place. Tatra, there, ekagram manah kritva. So ekagra, we all know ekagra chitta means focused. Mind should be focused, one pointed attention. Actually, literally, ekagra means one pointed. Eka is one, agra is the tip of something. So that is one point. Therefore, the mind should be completely focused on a single point, which is the Supreme Lord, no one else. Manah kritva yata chittendriya kriyaha. Yata chitta means to endeavor to control the mind. One has to control the mind, and the activities of the senses too have to be controlled. So, because mind, Krishna talks about this, in the Bhagavad Gita. It is compared, this whole relationship between the Atma, the mind, intelligence, and the senses is like, Atma is like the passenger sitting on a chariot, and the chariot is being driven. The driver is the intelligence, and this driver is holding a yoke, or the ropes which are tied to the horses. And what are the horses? Horses are the different senses. And what is the rope? It is the mind. So mind is actually connecting the senses to intelligence. Therefore, now, if we do not control the indriyas, that means the horses, let's say we are not controlling the indriyas through the mind, let's say we let them go, then they will go here, there, helter skelter. They will take the entire chariot will be gone astray. So the intelligence will also be doomed and the passenger. Therefore, the senses and the mind have to be controlled. Only then the chariot can go in the required direction. Therefore, we have to control the senses, mind, and all its activities by fixing the mind on one point. Upavishya asane yunjyad. So, by sitting on the seat, one should execute. What should one do? Yogam Atma Vishuddhaye. One has to practice the yoga to purify the heart. So, how can we purify the heart? We can purify the heart by controlling the mind, senses, and activities. Otherwise, it's not possible. So, just like I said, the passenger is the Atma. So, Atma is always pure, but because it is in connection, now it's actually an illusion. Atma can never become impure. But the consciousness of the Atma, it is like the light and its light rays. So light is never affected, but we can cover the light. If we cover the light with a green paper, let's say black, red, and yellow paper. So externally, the light will be of three different colors. But does it mean the light itself has become colored? No. Similarly, Atma is like that light. Atma will never be impure. But because it is externally, the consciousness now is in touch, because the light rays are in touch with three colors. Black means tamoguna, red means rajoguna, yellow means satvaguna. So, accordingly, our consciousness will be colored by these three gunas. In fact, there are people, you know, they say there are people who can see the aura of people. So aura is like the energy, or the radiation around the body. And some say actually they can see that some people have a reddish aura, some people have a yellowish or a blackish, so all that. So this is all because uh, the consciousness is in touch with this material energy. So therefore, one can purify the consciousness by controlling the mind and the senses. Okay. Next shloka, number 13 to 14. Samam kaya shiro grivam dharayan achalam sthiraha sampreksha nasikagram svam dishascha प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिः ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य स्मच्चित्तो युक्त आसीत मत्परः samam kaya shira grivam. Now Krishna is talking about the posture, how one has to be seated. So this is also important, especially for the yoga practice, and even otherwise, let's say even we are sitting for chanting. So then also, because the physical body is in touch with the subtle body, that is the mind, intelligence, and ego. This is the subtle body. So we have two coverings. One, we are the soul. Then there is one inner covering that is made of mind, intelligence, and ego. That is the subtle body. Then there is external covering, which is this gross body, which is made of, the blood, muscles, skin, bones, all this. So therefore, because it is in touch, the gross body is also in touch with the subtle body. everything has to be aligned. So if one samam means straight, kaya means body, shiraha means head, grivam neck. So we have to sit in straight. You know, our head, neck, and one's body should be in a straight line. So we have our posture also is very important. If we do that, then also the bodily airs, the vayus, they will be streamlined or aligned, and therefore this will also help because they are directly in touch with the mind, and mind will also become, it helps to study the mind. And after doing this, dharayan achalam sthiraha, dharayan holding, achalam means without moving, to be very steadily seated, sthiraha means to, we have to be still. Then what to do? One has to sampreksha nasikagram swam. One has to look. Sampreksha means to look. At the nasika means the nose. Agram again means the tip. One has to look at the tip of the nose. So this is all done. These are the physical exercises that are done in order to bring the mind to that focus, bring the mind to state of peaceful equilibrium. And how is that done? By carefully withdrawing the senses. So because now, if I think I've already explained this, if the eyes are busy looking at some things, gradually it will drag the mind's attention will go to that whatever the eyes are seeing. Or if ears are hearing something, then gradually mind's attention will go there. So we can again bring up that picture in our mind, which I just spoke about, how the senses are compared to the horses, and the mind to the yoke or the rope. So as soon as one horse is trying to go in one direction, the entire chariot will be disturbed. The chariot will also stop moving in that direction. But now we need to go in a straight line. Therefore, everything has to be controlled. Therefore, these senses should not have external engagements. Therefore, now the eyesight. So therefore, it is Krishna is instructing it has to be focused on the tip of the nose. Nasikagram swam means one's own nose. Dishascha anavalokayan. Disha means on all sides without looking elsewhere. Just focus on this tip of the nose. Then Prashantatma Vigata Bhihi. So we know what is Prashantatma. Atma here is the mind. Prashanta means peaceful. So thus, mind becomes peaceful and unagitated. Bhi means actually fear. Vigata bhi. Now the mind becomes peaceful, and it's, of course, it can become peaceful only when it is fearless. So with such a state of mind, brahmachari vrate. So one who is completely free from any kind of a engagement with the opposite gender. One is completely free from sex life. Then such a person, again, that is also because brahmacharya is also very important, because that is also a way to conserve the energy of the body, mind, and also the senses, and because that will also take the focus away. So now one manas sanyamya machitto, mind now should be Mat chitta means here clearly Krishna is saying, after initial exercise of trying to focus the mind on the tip of the nose, now when the mind is relatively peaceful, one should um, focus on Krishna. Yukta asita matparaha. Such a yogi who is in touch with Krishna consciousness, yuktaha. Asita means now he is situated. Asita means it can literally mean sit, or one who is situated this way. Matparaha. Then he should make the Supreme Lord as the ultimate goal of his life. So clearly Krishna is explaining what is the goal of yoga and how one gets to that status of mental equilibrium. So, in the next shloka, number 15, Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shantim nirvana paramam matsamstham adhigacchati. Yunjan. Yunjan means to be, again, connected in Krishna consciousness. Because now he is focusing his mind and on the Lord, and therefore he is in touch with the Lord. Evam, as mentioned above, sada. Sada means constantly. So all this requires complete, dedicated, constant endeavor. Yogi niyata manasaha. Atmana means body, mind, and soul. So by practicing this constant control of a body, mind, and its activities, this yogi, niyata manasaha, now he has, his mind has been controlled or regulated. Shantim nirvanam paramam. So as soon as the mind is controlled, one becomes peaceful. Nirvana means nirvana paramam. So nirvana means actually to be free from all sorts of material activities, or in the real sense, to become liberated. This will mark the end of his material entanglement, or he will become free from his karma bandhana. Matstham stham adhigacchati. By becoming free from this material existence or becoming liberated, because now this yogi, he is actually a bhakti yogi, because out of devotion, he is focusing his mind on the Supreme Lord. He has made Supreme Lord Shri Krishna as the object of his meditation. So therefore, because he has been meditating on the Lord, when he gets liberated, he will go to the spiritual world where he can meet the Lord face to face. And of course, if he is not a bhakta or a devotee, he will not attain the Supreme Lord. He may just go merge also. Depends on what really he wants. So some yogis may go merge into the Brahma Jyoti, or the impersonal light. So the Brahma Jyoti is nothing but the rays of coming out of the Lord's body. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. That's what he says. Most people of the world do not know this. As soon as we see the light, sunlight in the morning, we understand that, okay, the sun has risen in the sky. Because there is the sun, sunlight is out. Without the sun, there is no light. Similarly, this spiritual light that people think of merging into, that is just one of the aspects of the Lord, but it is not the complete absolute truth. So that light is again coming from the ultimate Son, or Sri Krishna. Therefore, because this yogi has understood that the Supreme Lord is higher than this, just the light, he um, becomes a devotee and then he goes to the Supreme Lord. Shloka number 16. नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तम् अनश्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुना. So here now the Lord is specifying what are the regulations, how a person who really wants to succeed in his yoga practice should conduct his life. So, nati ashnataha. Ashnataha means one who eats. Ati means too much. If one who eats too much, or if he eats too less, nacha ekantam ashnataha means he doesn't eat at all much. Then it's too difficult for him to become a yogi, Krishna is saying. So, like I said, samatvam yoga uchyate. So, yoga is all about balance, equilibrium. One should not eat too much nor too less. Similarly, na chati swapna shilasya, ati swapna shilasya. That means what? One who sleeps too much. Such a person, he also cannot really practice yoga, because sleeping too much is a sign of tamoguna. We become lazy. Jagrato naiva charjuna. One who does not sleep enough, even that is not good. One should neither sleep too much nor should one sleep too less. Because if one sleeps too less, then the body may become physically exhausted and one may not be able to keep good health, optimum health. So therefore, generally prescribed number of hours that we have to sleep is 6 hours. That's enough. So Srila Prabhupada says that, if someone has some kind of ailment or physical condition, if he's not able to sustain with 6 hours, then maximum one can stretch up to 8 hours, but generally no. So the thing is, the more we increase our spiritual practice, the tendency is that we will want to sleep lesser, because we don't want to waste time. Time is very, very precious, as Chanakya Pandita says. Even one moment, what we have lost, we cannot get it back. No matter how, even if we are ready to pay $1 million, we can never get the time back. So therefore, plus we have no idea how long more of time do we have to while it away, right? Irresponsibly. So we have to be very responsible. Every minute should be utilized in becoming more and more Krishna conscious, so that at the end of life, we may be able to fully remember Krishna and then go back to the spiritual world, go back to Him. So these are the regulations that Krishna is suggesting. And eating too much also makes, everybody knows, we become very lethargic and lazy. And if we eat too less, again, the body may become too tired, exhausted, and may not get enough nutrition. So we should not overly indulge luxuries or sense pleasures and pamper the body. At the same time, we should not completely neglect the body either, because this body is an instrument or a vehicle. It's a gift of God, and we have to utilize every function and every part of this body uh, to serve the Master, the Supreme Lord. It is his property, it is not ours. Everything belongs to him. Therefore, we have to take care of this body on his behalf. At the same time, one should not be overly obsessed about taking care of the body. That was also, again, that may also be Maya's trick. So some people may become overly health conscious. Even that is not good, because everything, like Krishna says, samatvam yoga uchyate. Everything should be regulated. So now shloka 17. Yuktahara viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu yuktasvapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So one who, here again Krishna continues how one has to be regulated in all activities. One has to be regulated in recreation. So yukta ahara, regulated. Yukta means regulated, ahara means eating, vihara means recreation, some kind of entertainment everyone needs. So, but one has to be regulated. So, in today's day and age, recreation, the minute we hear recreation, automatically people think, oh, yeah, I need to watch movies, I need to have some kind of entertainment. It's not necessary that, so it is just depends on the taste. So, people who are, they are who are engaged with the material world, for them, they want that kind of an entertainment. So that means, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and Satoguna. Entertainment can be on different, all these levels. So the more one becomes purified, the more one will be entertained, or so called, one will feel happy to be actually engaged more in activities of Krishna Bhakti. So, so for pure devotees, for them, Shravana Kirtana, hearing about the Lord, reading the books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, this is also entertainment. This is also vihara. Or, maximum some things which are in Sattva Guna, like going out for a walk and or doing yoga, things like that. It depends on the individual, but to the extent possible, one should somehow or other mix it with some Krishna conscious activity, so that we should not waste a single moment without being Krishna conscious. Let's say we can go for a walk. We could be walking, but we can also be hearing some Krishna conscious lecture or some kirtan. I'm just giving examples. So that way, because Krishna has given many instructions throughout the Bhagavad Gita, we have to synthesize all of them, harmonize all of them. Because elsewhere Krishna says to Arjuna, Sada tad bhava bhavita. Always, you should always be Krishna conscious, conscious of me. Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Always you should think of me. Even at the end of this chapter, Krishna says, the greatest of all yogis is who always thinks of me. So that means we should never stop thinking about Krishna. That means, if we are not able to think of him directly, at least we can do activities which remind us of him. But at the same time, Krishna is saying we should eat regulated in a regulated manner. We should also have some recreation. So, what is regulation in eating? that our acharyas explain, one should not eat anything and everything. So, especially in today's day and age, people think it's just, especially in some countries like, I think, China and other places, there's absolutely no regulation. They literally eat anything that probably lives or crawls or walks. So it is really very bad. That is a very, very bad abuse of the body and abuse of the animals and other living creatures. So, therefore, one has to be regulated in the sense we have to eat our own quota, our own share. So, people may argue that, oh, so are you, if you are a vegetarian, then aren't you killing the plants and the trees? So the point is not being a vegetarian per se. The point is to eat whatever we have been allotted. ईशावास्यम् इदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत्तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीताः मा गृधा कस्य स्विद्धनम्. This is a famous shloka from the Ishopanishad, wherein it is said everything is being controlled by the Supreme Lord. Everything belongs to Him. Everything is His property. Whatever we see in the entire creation. So therefore, He has, because He's the owner and the master, He has allotted for human beings certain things, certain share, for animals, for herbivores, their share, carnivores, their share. Just like a beautiful father, he will allocate, and equally or whatever, divide the property or whatever his assets to his children accordingly. Similarly, the Lord has allotted for human beings grains, fruits, vegetables, cow milk. So, by taking our own share, we are not disturbing others' share. And therefore, even the scientists acknowledge that there is this whole ecosystem, there is a food chain, and if we intervene and interfere, that will disturb the entire food chain. So we cannot take someone else's food. At the same token, because we are not the creators or the owners, because the Lord has very kindly given us our share, we have to be grateful and we have to acknowledge. And therefore, we we first do Naivedya or offer to the Lord whatever we have got in our share, and then take it as prasad. So then we are then that is called as Yukta Ahara. Of course, even among vegetables, there are some which are not prescribed. If we have to, progress in yogic practice. So nowadays, people are unaware of this, but even till 50 years, 100 years before, in many of the cultured families, eating onion, garlic, coffee, tea, this was not, it was considered a taboo because these are all considered impure. So whatever is coming down the tradition and which is sanctioned by the scriptures, which is actually true because they do not promote mental equilibrium, these kind of food substances. So any kind of food we eat will have, definitely, it will surely have an effect on the mind and the consciousness. Therefore, we have to be very careful what we eat. Better to stick to the uh, sattvic diet and offer it to the Lord and then take the prasad. That way we will be free from any karmic influences. Then yukta cheshtasya karma. So one who is also regulated in his work, working overly, over endeavoring, extremely, what do you say, greedy for money or greedy for career progress in career, all this again, then where will be the time for the yogic practice at all? So therefore, one has to work for just one's maintenance, not overdo it. At the same time, one should not give up one's duties and become the same token lazy. Unless one comes to a completely transcendental platform, um, he cannot give up his own duties also. So this is therefore yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Karma means for one's own work or duties. Yukta swapna avabodhasya. Swapna means dream or sleep. We can dream only when we are sleeping. Of course, daydreaming is different. But avabodhasya means wakefulness. Yogo bhavati dukhaha. So one practices this kind of a regulated system of yoga, with regulated eating, sleeping, recreation, work. It brings us to a sense of equilibrium or sattva guna. Sattva guna, the very symptom of sattva guna is happiness and knowledge. So we become very peaceful. So because even the body now is healthy, unnecessarily indulging in too much of sense enjoyment makes body become very one, it may develop health issues, and at the same time body and the mind will start demanding more and more. They're not satisfied, but by being regulated we become peaceful. And peaceful means all our miseries will be gone. We will come to Sattva wherein we can develop more knowledge and we will be peaceful. Okay, next shloka, number 18. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva vatisthate nispriha sarvakamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. When by this practice of yoga, when one develops properly, one has disciplined one's mind and its activities, then because the mind has become peaceful, now the mind becomes situated in spiritual consciousness, or I have explained this in, I think, a bit of a detail in the previous session. So when mind becomes purified of its impurities, then it will reflect. The mind itself does not become spiritual in the sense when the mind has become completely purified, it can get spiritualized, but it will reflect our original spiritual nature or our original spiritual self. So then Atmani eva avatisthate, that's what it means, becomes, then a person will become situated in spiritual platform. Nispruhaha means he becomes devoid of all desires, sarva kamebhyaha, all kinds of material desires, yukta ityuchyate tada, then one is said to be completely situated in yoga. So Krishna is very beautifully taking us through the different stages of yoga. So by controlling the senses, the mind, finally by focusing the mind on the Supreme Lord, by observing all these regulations, and by constantly endeavoring to focus the mind on the Lord, one will finally become free from all sorts of material influences, and one comes to the spiritual platform, and one becomes very happy and peaceful, and he will become completely free from material contamination. Then he is said to be completely situated in yoga. Next shloka number 19. Yatha deepo nivatastho ningate sopama smruta yogino yatachittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. So yatha means, here the Lord is giving example how the mind will be situated for a person who has come to that spiritual platform. Yatha means just like Deepa, a lamp is situated in a windless place. So lamp will be on its own, it doesn't waver. But when there is wind blowing, or when there is um, that kind of a disturbance of wind, only then it will also flicker. When it is placed in such a windless place, it will be very steady, it doesn't waver. Na ingate, in means it does not waver. Sa upama smrita, this is the comparison. Upama means comparison, is given. Yogino yata chittasya, for whom? For the mind of a yogi, whose mind is now very controlled, completely controlled. Yunjato yogam atmanaha. Such a yogi who is constantly in that consciousness, Krishna consciousness, in that meditation or yoga, then he is situated on the spiritual platform. He will always remain steady in his meditation, and then he will be situated in that spiritual platform. So Krishna is comparing. So how can we know? Let's say if we have come to that platform or not. We can know that, by observing the mind. The mind will just not waver. The mind will become very still, as if there is no more disturbance anymore. If for one whose mind is not controlled, if you simply just sit quietly for 2 minutes and observe the mind, how many innumerable thoughts keep coming. We don't even have to think consciously, but automatically so many thoughts keep coming. Why? Because of our association with this material nature. Constantly, we have so many desires, so many plans, so many things or thoughts. So it keeps coming, bombarding. But it's like, one on a sheet of paper, there are so many things written, but when we erase everything, then now it has become completely clear. Similarly, mind also has become completely clear, all unwanted thoughts, so it will become very still. So this is the symptom, this is the characteristic of one who has attained that spiritual consciousness. All right, we'll stop here. If you have any questions.